I'm back to do another video. I had a special request for sunflowers, so I'm going to show you this one here. And it's quick and simple using acrylic paints. And here are the brushes that I'm using here. This is a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a number 2 flat. And this one here is a domed stencil brush. So most stencil brushes are usually just flat, but this one has a rounded top, and that's going to help us paint our centers. So I'm picking up a little bit of the dark brown and a little bit of this black and burnt sienna, and kind of just pouncing the color, fill in the center. And you don't want it to be smooth on the outside. So see, this brush kind of helps you get that little texture that you want. I'm just filling the entire center. And I use the chalk to kind of sketch out my design before I started here. Chalk is really good for just sketching, and that will kind of help you with placement. Now I'm going to add a little shading in the center, and I picked up a little bit of the dark brown with a touch of black. So there's our center, kind of darken that center, and then a little bit down below here. Burnt umber and a little black. There we go. Okay, so once you have that finished, I'm going to just take a little bit of this burnt sienna and just kind of tap a little bit of this brighter brown for highlight. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to start on my petals. I'm going to use my 1/2 inch flat, using a little bit of this special medium, and at the end of the video I will write down all the colors and what I'm using here. So I've picked up a little bit of this medium and a little bit of the lighter brown, which is burnt sienna, and I'm just pulling color under or right next to the center. See that? And this just we're just gonna be putting the petals right on top of this. So this actually becomes the shadow beneath the petals. Okay, so center and pull out a little bit of the medium, and that medium is kind of giving it like a watercolor effect. You see that? It's very transparent. Okay, there we go. So that becomes your kind of your shading, and I'm going to start adding my petals. So I'm picking up my brighter orange or brighter yellow with a little bit of my burnt umber or burnt sienna, and laying the corner of my brush to the center, pushing down and pulling out. See that? So this sunflower is going to have several layers of petals. So I'm starting off right now with my darker color. So the darker of the yellows I'm using here. Pull, pull, pull. Yeah, I've got some short ones down below. Now I'm just going to go and put another layer of just the brighter yellow without the brown. And you see how this just kind of gives it a little more dimension. You can see these colors even though it's right on top of what we just painted. Okay. So you just put your corner of the brush, touch the center, push down, slight little pressure, and then slightly pull on your chisel, which is your very bottom of your brush, and that will give you those nice little points. Now with my lightest yellow, I'm going to add more petals. And this will just go right on top of all the other ones here. And you can have petals that kind of crisscross each other. See that? This is my brightest yellow here. Okay, and just a few down below here. Okay. And these little flips I'm going to show you at the end. We're going to let that center dry a little bit. But we'll go ahead and start on our leaves. So I'm taking my 1/2 inch flat again and getting my dark green and with a touch of this light color, this blue, which is a little turquoise color, and I like mixing it or using it with my greens. So I'm going to use this to just fill in my leaves. So make sure you kind of get really close to those petals because we want it to look like it's coming from underneath the petals. So paint around it and just fill in. So, and you see I'm not really following my chalk lines exactly, because remember those are just guides. You don't have to follow them exactly. So here, and there's a lot of different shades of green, so you can choose whichever color you want to use. But I like using a slightly lighter green to fill in, and then I pick up my dark green on the corner of my brush, and I just add that to the outer part of the brush, or the outer part of the leaves. Just kind of fill in a little bit and drag your chisel and paint your little stems or your veins. A little bit of the dark green on the corner. Okay, and pull out. Let's fill in here and figure out where your center is and add your veins. There you go. And one more over here. And I start from the top and I just pull out, push out, creating those little kind of uneven edges on the outer part of the leaves. A little more dark green on the corner of the brush. Create your little veins. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to paint a few little leaves down below here, and we've got some transparent ones you see that are in the back. So I'm going to wipe this off, not go into water, pick up my medium and a little bit of that green mixture that's with the turquoise, and I'm just going to add some of these transparent leaves that are going to be underneath the other leaves that I will paint. Okay. And now picking up my dark green and that turquoise color, and maybe with a little bit of the burnt sienna. I'm going to add just the solid leaves. Drag my chisel for the stem. One. Restroke that. Okay. Wipe this off. And I'm going to take my 1/4 inch flat and do those little flip petals. Make sure it's dry. And you may want to first do it with your white because it's such a dark color underneath. Yellow is a little transparent, so this may help make your yellow petals a lot brighter. So here, then a little one, right? You know what? Let me switch to my other smaller brush. So here, okay, my little flips. Now pick up your yellow paint and add that, paint that right on top there. And chisel. So this part can get a little tricky. You may want to practice this a little bit. So here, lay my chisel and I just do kind of like a comma stroke, almost like a comma right there. Right? Now with my floating medium, I'm just going to do a little shading around the center here. Make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush or too much medium. So this is just burnt sienna. And this part here, you probably would have a easier time if you just let the yellow petals dry a little bit before you do this part. Okay, I'm going to take my browns and just pull my chisel out. Do a few of these detail lines on the petals. So that's with your dark burnt sienna and your raw umber. So just pull. You don't have to do it to each petal. Kind of curve and follow the shape of the petal. Okay. And going back to our flat brush, 1/2 inch, a little bit of the medium. Just going to add a few more petals that overlap and go over parts of the leaves. Make it slightly lighter. Just a few there and a few right over here on the leaves. Okay, just for a little detail, I'm just going to add a few little shadings in between each of the petals. I'm picking up a little bit of the burnt umber and a touch of black, and right here with my 2 flat. Okay, a 2 flat is it's a flat brush, but kind of very thin, and just a few little dark little pockets of shadow that help separate your petals. Okay, so just, and this will kind of help separate, and because you have a lot of petals there. Okay, there we go. There you go. I think we're done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching.